we seem to think of these things as, I don't know, there's so much arrogance to it, really, thinking that we're always right, and we construct mental images for ourselves to make it look like obviously we're right. I think a lot of times we think of the terrorists, the alleged terrorists that we catch are always in the field. I mentioned a moment earlier, the guy has a gun and he's actually firing at the soldiers. Like, oh, well, frick, that guy clearly should not be doing that whole thing, shooting at us thing. Please don't shoot at American soldiers. Thank you very much. And we think of it as being pretty obvious that way. It's not. In that case, great. Get the guy. Maybe he's captured, and then you have a whole platoon of soldiers maybe who saw the guy with the gun shooting at you. Great. Have them sign a sworn statement. This dude was shooting at me, and then put that guy behind bars. And again, the whole deal, the whole little bullets flying, extenuating circumstances thing. Maybe we can't have a full trial right now, but at some point we get around to the trial type thing. We mess around with other definitions of that too. Prisoners of war. Traditionally, a prisoner of war is a guy, first off, who's wearing a freaking uniform of the other, side or whatever. So it's clearly obvious what side he's fighting for. Like, you can see it. And he'll tell you, yes, I work for country X. I'm a soldier. I'm a second lieutenant, and I shot at your guys last Tuesday. I mean, and it's obvious what he's doing. And then you take him and you put him in jail. He becomes a prisoner of war. And then when the war is over, typically, the guy goes home. So it's a limited sentence at the very least. And then we don't even go with prisoner of war status. No, we meant this enemy combatant thing, which is this guy who's attacking us and not necessarily, so upfront with the whole clearly I'm your enemy there, which obviously there are plenty of people who are enemies that aren't going to tell you that up front. But you do realize that both the guilty and the innocent will claim innocence, right? You can't be like, okay, I've captured this guy. He claims to be innocent, but clearly he's a liar, because a guilty person would just say that he's innocent. Yes, but innocent person would also say that he's innocent. So I don't think you really made a distinction yet. We think of it as being obvious. We think, again, of that scenario where there's a guy with a gun actually shooting. And you can see it, and that's all pretty well clear and good, and getting that guy convicted or whatever should be very simple, and whatever trial system type thing you have. Should be some sort of trial-ish thing, please, as soon as we can get around to it. As soon as the bullets stop flying through your immediate airspace, it'd be nice to have some sort of something. We think of that situation, though, and a lot of times it doesn't work that way. A lot of times it's that some guy, Bob, whatever, and we just burst into his house. Marines, get down! Whatever they yell, I don't know exactly what their thing would be. And the Marines or whomever busts in, and they grab the guy, and they've been told that he's a terrorist, so they're grabbing him. And then we ship him off to Guantanamo or whatever other random base. We had, freaking secret CIA prisons, which Obama's shut down, or at least claims to have shut them down. They were secret CIA prisons, so it's kind of hard to verify. Ugh. But a lot of times we just nab some guy without the very obvious, clear evidence thing. This is why we have trials! Because if there's obvious, clear evidence, go to the trial and be like, oh, the judge or whoever would be like, wow, this seems like obvious, clear evidence. You have, for instance, sworn statements of the dude like, yes, I saw him with the gun, he was shooting at me. Ding, 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 cool. Guilty. Guilty. And if it's just, actually we were just told to bust in because, Phil back at the CIA said there was some evidence, and the judge could be like, Phil, do you have this evidence? And they'll be all like, it's classified. And I'll be like, well, I'm, again, there are needs for secrecy. There can be, certainly, in war and anti-terrorism and all sorts of things. Even in regular crimes, like you're dealing with a mob or something, which isn't terrorism per se, but there might be a need for secrecy. In the efforts to get rid of them, criminals, terrorists, etc. In which case, you could have some degree of, secret judges who have, they have clearance to look at secret information, see if it makes sense, check it out, and then give a guilty or innocent verdict or such a thing. just so long as that judge still has the, the leeway to figure if he's guilty or innocent or whatever. Because sometimes he's innocent. Sometimes we're wrong. You gotta be very clear about that. I keep repeating it because people don't seem to get it. People don't seem to get it. So it ought to be, person's accused of terrorism. We nab him. Bring him in. At some point you have a trial. He's got a right, to some sort of defense type thing, or, somehow we got to make sure both sides of the equation are being looked at. You got to have an impartial judge, let's say, because probably you're not going to have a jury in a terrorism case. They don't have, clearance to hear secret things. But you might. I don't know. There's all sorts of circumstances. I'm not exactly sure. Any case, judge or jury has to be impartial. It has to be not their explicit job just to rubber stamp and give people convictions. They have to be able to say you're innocent or guilty. And then, if he's innocent, he goes free, and if he's guilty, he does not go free. Some people argue against the stuff going on in Guantanamo. They say, some number of people have been released, and of those, some percentage have returned to terrorism or something like that. Well, why did you release those people? That's not an argument against giving trials. That's an argument for, getting your trials right. If those facts are true, that some percentage released turned out to be terrorists anyway, well, then you should have gotten your facts straight, and figured out who was guilty and who was innocent. So that only the innocent people go free. But you're thinking in your brain that there are no innocent people. There's the presumption that they're all terrorists and they're all murderers. All of them, we cannot possibly make a mistake. That's how the people are thinking. And so to them, when they hear about trials, then when they hear about, defense, evidence, and might go free, oh, you can't let them go free. They're terrorists. Except for the ones who are not. Look, maybe the military, CIA, Defense Department, maybe they've all done a great job. Maybe they've done such a good job that every freaking person is a terrorist. It's possible. If they did a really good job of always nabbing the right guy, always following the evidence, sort of thing. But if they've been always following the evidence, it shouldn't be that hard to go to a judge and say, look, judge, here's that evidence we were following. And they'll be like, great, that looks great. It's not like we're flipping a coin here, people. I don't know, should we just let them go? Ding, no. You have a judge who's a professional here, he's experienced, and you can look at the thing, look at the, okay, we have some evidence, good. Clearly this man is a terrorist. Put him in jail. I said at the beginning of this, I was talking to Obama. I haven't gotten around to him yet. Obama promised to change a lot about everything. One of the things that was going to change was the Bush justice system as it applies to terrorists. Alleged terrorists. And also, another word. Like a word which means alleged terrorist, but does not have the word terrorist in it. Because you see terrorist, people go, terrorist! Terrorist! And they... Alleged!